What up, Salvador Briggman here, and welcome back to this channel. I hope that this week you've been taking some action towards your goals. You've really been plowing through those obstacles, and you haven't been letting anything keep you from really becoming the best version of yourself. I think that launching a business, launching a new product, launching a new idea into the world is so intimidating, and that's exactly why I'm here to hold your hand every step of the way through that process. So in today's video, I actually want to talk about Kickstarter rewards. I want to give you a couple of different examples of Kickstarter rewards that are out there, perks when it comes to offering these for your Kickstarter or crowdfunding campaign. I think you're gonna learn a lot, specifically as well as some great examples, which you can look into after this video. View it as kind of like a little bit of a lecture, and that way you can also go and you can learn more about some of these other campaigns. But let's get into that video today. And also, if you haven't yet, please give me a thumbs up on this video so that other people know it's worth their time. Let's get into that video in just a second. All right, man, again, my name is Salvador Briggman, and in this video, we're going through some of these different Kickstarter examples when it comes to rewards and perks. And if you're not familiar, I've been doing a podcast in this industry since 2015. I actually started this podcast when I was living in Brooklyn, New York, which is kind of the thing to do there, honestly. Like back in the day, podcasting was not even a thing, and I really got started at the beginning of that wave, and it's really been incredible. And I'm up to over 400 episodes now on my podcast. So I've been doing it for a long time. I love interviewing guests and really dissecting and understanding what goes into a crowdfunding campaign. So let's kind of dive into a couple different guest examples, and we'll go through that when it comes to the Kickstarter rewards. So the first example that I want to go through is episode number 468 on my podcast, Crowdfunding Demystified. If you want to follow along with this video, you can go and check out my podcast on iTunes at crowdcrux.com/iTunes or on Spotify at crowdcrux.com/Spotify. I also publish a version of the podcast on YouTube, but it is not the most updated version. I also publish a version of this as well on my website, crowdcrux.com, which you can check out there if you want to follow along with this video. So this is episode number 468. Crowdfunding expert shares his formula to create outstanding campaign pages, and this is CD Lock. This is actually a really good podcast episode, a really nifty product for bikers and people that are really interested in biking. This campaign raised over 130,000, specifically 478,000 for this specific campaign on Kickstarter. You can go and check this out on your own time. So if we go to their Kickstarter campaign and we load this sucker up, again, this is the perfect locking solution, the strongest folding lock ever made. This campaign had over 1,000 backers, and as you go down it, you can see all of the different amazing campaign page and also the rewards. So if you want to go to the rewards here, I'm on my iPad right now. You can go to the left-hand side and you will see the different rewards that are available on the screen. So first of all, for $1, this was a thank you and your support. At $89 was the actual one Folding Lock Forever. You got a Folding Lock Forever, 3 keychains, a duplication card, keychain, Steed Lock stickers. At $170, you got the perfect couple, 2 Folding Locks Forever, and then $579 was the retail pack. So if we really analyze this in terms of the ending rewards on the campaign, there were 3 major rewards. The core products, the number 2, you can get 2 of them, and number 3 was a retail pack, which is only available for the US, I imagine because of shipping costs that were available there. And there's also a $1 reward, which 42 people had backed at. If we scroll down a little bit more, there were also some early bird reward tiers. This is one of the things I stress so much in my book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula, which is available on Audible and also on Amazon. The Paint by Numbers Formula to Launch a Kickstarter Campaign, the best book that is available out there. My gosh, this is an incredible one. It's really like the textbook, but it's almost a slim, slender volume, which you can use to actually apply to your campaign. I'm telling you, you will get more funding if you read this book and you apply the lessons. So one of the things I talk about in the book are early bird rewards. So these guys had a super early bird reward. This was their first day reward. They had 412 backers. This was a $78 reward. And they also had an early bird reward as well. So I talk about the waterfall effect in this book. And the waterfall effect is when someone will buy the super early birds, those sell out, and then they kind of go to the early birds, those sell out, right? And then they go to the actual Kickstarter core rewards, which are also usually discounted off of the MSRP, which is manufactured retail price, or suggested retail price rather, right? So these guys, if we kind of recap this, they had 3 core rewards and then 2 early birds. And again, this process led to them raising $130,000 for more than 1,000 backers on Kickstarter. The next physical product I want to go through on this video is episode number 466. I can't believe we're past 400 episodes, guys. This is insane. Some of y'all have been with me for years, and it's incredible to watch just the way that I've grown as a podcaster. I have a great course out there as well on podcasting, but that's beyond the point. Okay, so this episode, they raised $168,978 on Kickstarter. They did this for the Vilno footrester. I talked to these guys. They were not US based, but it's a really interesting footrest and really something that they had developed. And I think that actually we need more blood flow in our feet because, to be honest, so many people out there are working from home nowadays, and it's one of the things we need. So if you go and check out this campaign, let's go through a couple of different items. So again, they raised $168,000, more than 1,675 backers. If we scroll to the rewards section of this campaign, we can also learn more about this. So first of all, for this campaign at the $89 level, and this is 40% off MSRP, you could get the early bird. This is one footrester. They also then had the Kickstarter price, which was 1X footrester. This was for $119. And then you had the super early birds, 2X, $149. The early birds at 2X at footrester, which is $169. They then had the Kickstarter price, 2X, and they had a couple that were all gone. The ones that were all gone were the super early birds at $79 was the main one, which was all down. So if we think about this, the kind of the structure of this campaign when it comes to rewards was having super early birds, having early birds, and then having the Kickstarter prize, going back to what I mentioned in my book, the Kickstarter launch formula, the waterfall effect, right? So we see that and exhibit this in this campaign. In addition, they also have 1 and 2X when it comes to the super early birds, the 2X. They also have a 2X for the early birds, and they have a 2X for the Kickstarter price. So they've kind of structured it this way. And one of the things that's a little bit difficult, I would say, with Kickstarter is actually that you can't have multiple quantity orders with those rewards. I'm not sure why the platform doesn't do that yet, but it is one of the things I've been talking about for years. So this really in terms of the benefits here. One to me is the fact that they can really accommodate many different types of backers with this kind of selection. The downside is that when you have a super early bird, an early bird, and a Kickstarter reward, it also complicates things a little bit and it makes it a little bit more challenging because there are a lot of different options. This one has to know the difference between all of these. Let's get into example number 3. So example number 3 is from episode number 465 on my podcast. A first-time creator shares how he got his project fully funded in 10 minutes. This is also something that I discuss. If you're not ready yet to get my book, or you're not interested yet in investing in your own education, you can go and check out my free course at crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. And I talk about how to get funded in 10 minutes with your campaign. So you're wondering kind of the mechanics that go behind that. So these guys, if we look at this campaign, and this is on my website, crowdcrux.com, let's pull up their campaign shortly. So this campaign, to give you some variety, was launched on Indiegogo. This is a LumaFlex, the revolutionary red light therapy panel. They raised $204,030 from 77 backers with their project. If we take a look at their rewards, and the way you do this, it's a little bit different actually on Kickstarter. You can see some of the different contributions. So they actually had one major reward. This is the LumaFlex Body Pro. This is for $689 USD. At the time that I am recording this video, this is the only reward which I can see on their page. So from what I remember, they actually had a couple different other items and rewards, and it could be that they had either sold them out or they had a secret perk options which they made available to their early bird communities. But at the time of recording this, I can only see the $689 US reward. I do think that this campaign could do a lot more and could actually have raised a lot more. And I actually did tell the creator this privately after the podcast. As you can see, they could have structured the campaign very differently with rewards based on some of the best practices I was talking about earlier. And also, they could much better word this in terms of off of retail price. There's no percentage off that's communicated here on the rewards. I'm not gonna go through this too much because I wanna get to the next campaign example. The next campaign is episode number 463, Brave New Tactics to Hit Your Funding Goal on Day 1 as a Complete Beginner. And again, I talk about these tactics on my free course at crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. So if you want to learn more about this campaign, this one was actually to me like a mega campaign. It was so exciting to talk with the founder, Adam, really cool when it came to this project. And he basically invented a new way to think about music. This is a musical instrument for everyday life called Corda. It's a smart synth looper and MDI controller that adapts the way you play. So this campaign raised $673,963 from more than 2,886 backers. So this again was a whopper of a campaign. These guys did an incredible job when it comes to the project. You can even see all the different design, the incredible look and the feel of this. So definitely something that had a lot of energy that went into this project. Let's take a look at their reward section. So first of all, they had an early bird for Corda. This was $199 and 20% off of retail price. It then went to the Kickstarter pricing, which was $219, the Kickstarter discount being 12%. And then went to Corda plus Orba 2, which is an additional product which they were offering with this specific Kickstarter for $319. Then it had a give one, get one at $359. They had Corda plus Corda Duet at $379. And that's it when it comes to their rewards. So really interesting reward structure. They actually didn't have any rewards which sold out. They started with an early bird, then went to the Kickstarter discount. And because of their experience in the industry, they could then actually mix and match different products which they have created previously. And this only works if you can actually if you've created these products in the past. So then it had a couple of different rewards. For example, the Corda plus Corda Duets. They also had, again, the give one, and the Corda plus Orba 2. So they kind of mix and match a couple of these different ones in order to have a really interesting arty phone ecosystem here. So I would say with this is an example of a more advanced campaign. If you've done products in the past or you've produced products in the past, you could actually mix and match them if it makes sense within a single campaign. But it does exhibit the one best practice I mentioned before, which is having an early bird and then also having a Kickstarter discount and having that being a percentage off the MSRP. So at this point in the video, you might be thinking, Sal, did you just change your shirt? Yes, I did. Actually, my camera battery just died, so I had to cut this into 2 segments. But the other thing you might be thinking is, Sal, okay, you talked a lot about some of these different categories when it comes to physical products. What about other types of categories on Kickstarter? And what about going beyond just the reward tier structure? Because we went through a lot of the reward tier structure. So this next section, I want to give you a couple of different examples of other campaigns on Kickstarter and go through some of the other elements when it comes to the rewards. So this next campaign is going to be episode number 336 of the podcast, How to Build a Legendary Comic Saga with Kickstarter. And this is actually a really interesting episode because the individual on this episode had launched 9 different campaigns on Kickstarter and really gave a ton of their thoughts and sort of comprehensive techniques that go into an effective launch. So I do recommend listening to this specifically if you're interested in comic books and you're interested in success and sort of repeat success. So if we check out this actual Kickstarter campaign for the Witchblade hardcover 2, this again is the saga which is continuing. These guys have attracted more than 1,281 backers off of 184,421. Their actual goal was only 20K, so they literally 5x'd their goal with this specific campaign. Great thing as well, going through this project, you can learn more about this on your own time. To me, this is a great brand-based graphic novel, something that really goes through extreme levels of art, super beautiful design, really cool. But what I want to talk about is the rewards. If we get to the reward section here on the Kickstarter campaign, first of all, we're going to go through the structure and then we're going to be talking a little bit more specifically about comic books and some of the other categories on Kickstarter. So let's take a look. First of all, the available reward starts at $30. This is the Witchblade Collection Volume 2 PDF. So you get a digital download of the PDF of the comic book at the $30 level. You then get into the Volume 2 HC, which is the hardcover. You get the hardcover Complete Witchblade Collection Volume 2 hardcover with a Kickstarter exclusive dust jacket art honoring the late, great Michael Turner. Every copy will be signed by Mark Silvestri. So again, this is the $50 tier, which is the next one. Then you get into Volume 2 hardcover plus Witchblade number 1/2. This is Witchblade number 1/2 relaunch by Marguerite Bennett and some of the other artists and writers here at this team. This is $55. They then get into the $60 tier, which is the download the Witchblade Collections Volume 1 and 2 PDFs, which is the contactless delivery. So this would be basically downloading the first and the second at the PDF level. And then you get into the $75, which is the hardcover Retroblade Ringer Tee. And the cool thing about this, just kind of looking down here, is that we're getting people at every single level that are supporting this specific campaign. And lastly, at $100, you get the complete Witchblade Volume 2 rewards. So this is for $100 and includes all the different items basically when it comes to this campaign. Really exciting and really interesting package, and everything really that you would want if you are a comic book lover and specifically also love this genre. Some of the other examples of tiers that are all gone would be the 24-hour special tier, which was at $45. This is the complete Witchblade Collection Volume 2 hardcover with Kickstarter exclusive dust jacket art. This was for $45, and this is a 24-hour special. They also had another item sell out. This is for the Volume 2 hardcover, Witchblade number 1 and 2, and also Volume 1. It looks like hardcover as well. Then there's Volume 1 and 2, which they sold out. So I'm not going to go through all of these because this would be extensive. There's one or two other larger rewards as well that sold out. This is a $255 level. This would be the last 10 remark art by Mark Silvestri. It also had $250, a limited to 20 backers, a remake art by Mark Silvestri with COA. So to kind of first of all narrate a tiny bit when it comes to this, and we'll get more into the specifics, this is an example of a campaign that has a much more, I'd say, systematic reward structure. It has a lot more perks, a lot more items, and to be honest, I'd say for the vast majority of creators, I would not recommend having more than around 6 rewards total. Once you get beyond that, you tend to get into that kind of like analysis paralysis. That's like the other day when I went into a pastry shop and there's just so much that you can eat. You know, sometimes it's really almost like paralyzing to decide which one you want to select. So when you have usually 6 or less reward tiers, it's easier for someone to make a decision. So these guys have a lot of experience with their launches, obviously, so they were able to pull off much more of an intense, comprehensive, larger reward tier structure, and clearly they understood their audience. The other thing I want to draw your attention to with this specific campaign is that they had some really interesting early bird reward tiers. Rather than structuring it similar to a physical product campaign, they actually had reward tiers that sold out within 24 hours for their first tier. And then they also had limited number that people could actually pledge at for $20 amount, or sorry, for the 20 items that were available, and also 10 items that were available at these higher amounts. For example, the $250 tier and the $255 tier. And we didn't see that with some of the other campaigns here. So what I would say to this is that the reason why people tend to like kind of limited edition things with comic books is that, again, it's as part art, it's also part enjoyment and entertainment. So a lot of times that you can really get away with that. And I thought it was really interesting as well how they did the 24-hour flash sale when they went live. The other two quick things I want to mention about this campaign is the fact that typically people are going to want a physical copy if you are doing a comic book or if you're doing a novel. Now, it's not that they're not going to download the PDF or they actually want access to the PDF. A lot of people will also grab the digital tiers. However, when it comes to comic books, people love to have that in their hands. It's also really cool just to put on your tabletop or to put on your bookshelf. So they kind of like the physical component of that when it comes to novels and comic books and graphic novels. So it is something that's going to be much more popular. And in addition, like I talked about with the other campaign, if you have an example of producing work in the past, you can incorporate that into your actual Kickstarter launch and your rewards. So these guys had volume 1 and 2, right? They had produced multiple comic books in this series, multiple graphic novels. So if that's something that you benefit from as well, you can see also how if you're doing many different campaigns over a long life cycle, it's going to be easier and easier to launch these campaigns as you go. Want to take all the stress out of fulfilling your Kickstarter rewards? Fulfillrite is the turnkey solution that puts product delivery on autopilot. The Top Campaigns uses trusted high-tech provider to store, package, and ship their products. Focus on growing your business. Leave shipping to the experts. Don't wait. Get a custom quote from Fulfillrite today. Link in the description. The next example I wanted to bring up today is episode number 405, which is titled The Secret to Raising $100K in One Day to Self-Publish Your Book. Now, I would say that if you are a minority creator or you want to understand how Kickstarter interfaces with other equity crowdfunding websites like WeFunder, this is an episode, my friends, that you should listen to for episode number 405. So if we go and check this out, first of all, this is by Black Sands. I think that this campaign was incredibly well done. They also did a 7-figure WeFunder campaign, and they also have a Patreon campaign. So all the times I'll have people who will book an individual coaching call with me, which is an option. You can book an individual coaching call with me. I can give you tons of advice, feedback on your actual launch, homework and action items, introduce you to resources that you don't even know about, but as well, action items going forward with your campaign. And also for a select number of people, potentially work as well with your project. If you want to learn more about that, go check out the link down below to book an individual coaching call with me. With that being said, one of the things I talk about on my coaching calls is that for some creators, you have the possibility to not only do a Kickstarter campaign, you can also do a WeFunder campaign, which is equity crowdfunding, and you can consider doing a Patreon campaign, which is subscription-based crowdfunding. So really exciting how these guys were actually able to pull this off. So we pull up their Kickstarter campaign. This is for, again, Black Sands Entertainment, the Black Sands Anniversary Edition comic book. It's the first ever edition. It's the most popular Black indie comic in the nation. This individual is also on Shark Tank, which is really exciting as well. So they ended up raising $127,699 from 794 backers to bring this actual comic book to creation. If we scroll through this and we go specifically to the reward section, which I'm going to bring up here in just a second, this, again, was for more of a comic book campaign. So naturally, comic books, graphic novels, and sort of, novels in general will usually start off with a digital download tier, and these guys also are on point with that. So they started off with digital titles tier. For $20 support, thank you for your support, and we'll be giving you all 16 chapters of Black Sands Season 1 digitally. Then they skip up to the $80 tier, which is a signed original hard copy tier. This is, you get the original hard covers for the first full season of Black Sands. This is signed by the original creators. Then it goes up to $200, which is the ultimate collection of all hardcover books made exclusively for collectors of the series. This holograph version of series will be signed by the original creators and sealed to guarantee no damage on the books during transport. And then some of the tiers that had also sold out are the signed anniversary edition only tier. This is $125. It's a closing tier for those who want the AE version but can't reach that top level tier. And then the early bird anniversary edition tier. And this was at the $160 level for the early bird anniversary edition tier, which is 20% off the regular price of the anniversary edition of the Black Sands series. So this is, to me, also one of these things where if you look at this, these guys had actually sold out or they had made this tier sell out after 3 days. So this was a limited duration reward tier, and it looks like they got a lot of backers as well at this level. So in thinking about this, this structure is actually more in line with what I would typically recommend for most comic book creators and most indie publishers, people that are doing graphic novels, because it's not as comprehensive as the last campaign. It can be very difficult to fulfill many different types of rewards from many different packages, and if coordinating all that fulfillment. But also, you run into the marketing problem of obviously analysis paralysis. So with this one, it was much more tight, much more focused, and they also raised a comparable amount of money to the last campaign. In addition, these guys not only had the digital reward tier, but they did have a massive jump between the digital reward tier and the core reward tier. And that's one common question I get is like, is it okay to have jumps in these reward tiers? There are certain categories where you don't want to do that, but I would say that when it comes to comic books, it's usually okay as long as the vast majority of your value is being delivered at those core reward tiers, and usually that's going to be getting the actual physical book and maybe also some signed copies or some paraphernalia or some other things that are related to the story. As you can see, you can also do limited quantity reward tiers like we talked about before, or you could do limited duration, which is where it's only going to be available for a certain amount of time on Kickstarter for that specific reward tier. At this point in the video, I want to get more into tabletops. We're actually going to be covering on one of my episodes of the podcast, episode number 251. I interviewed the team behind Exploding Kittens, which is an incredible tabletop game, extremely popular, and they raised $8.7 million on Kickstarter. So you've been watching this video. First of all, give it a thumbs up. Come subscribe if you want more content just like this, but we're going to be diving into this mega campaign and really analyzing the reward structure. First of all, if we take a look at this campaign, massively overfunded. They had $8.7 million, which they raised off of a $10,000 goal, more than 200,000 backers who actually supported this Kickstarter campaign. So this is obviously very well done, extremely well planned out as well when it comes to the campaign. And let's take a little bit look at the reward here. So again, this is for the tabletop category. So with the tabletop, we start off with the $20, which is the Exploding Kittens deck, which in order to actually get access to the deck at the $20 tier. You then get the not safe for work version deck at $35. And then after that, we get into all the sold out versions when it comes to this specific campaign. You have the collector's edition deck at $100, which is 2 copies of both decks from the previous reward. We also get each of them signed by the creators of the game. In addition, you get the deck of legends at the $500 tier. And this is everything from the previous reward, plus each of the game creators will draw you a custom card at the $500 tier. So if we take a look at this, the vast majority of people backed at the Not Safe for Work version deck and also the Exploding Kittens deck. The Collector's Edition deck, and ironically the Deck of Legends, didn't have as many backers when it came to this. So this is an incredible example, in my opinion, of a campaign that did really well with their marketing. In my opinion, also had a great design, great well put together when it came to that, but they didn't really stretch out their rewards in the way that we see with some other categories. They were able to actually really condense their reward tiers, have just a couple of different levels that people can select at, and that way stay clear of analysis paralysis. They also did have some upper level tiers, but they really just kind of cut to the crux and really got to what people want, which at the end of the day is the tabletop. In the next tabletop on our list, we are at 278, episode number 278, the $1 Million Tabletop Strategy. So this was also a great episode to listen to, which is available on my website, or check it out on iTunes at crowdcrux.com/iTunes. So this campaign, my friends, was quite successful, and also something that I think was very well done on the graphical design side, but they were able to attract more than 25,000 backers and raise more than £1 million from the big potato. This is Muffin Time, the random card game. It's collect cards, trigger traps, and murder muffins in an ASTV movie-themed card game. So as you might expect, some really great designs. Let's get into the rewards here when it comes to this specific campaign. So if we scroll down the page here, we go to rewards here. All right, so we're on the reward section. So first of all, it starts off with the £1 tier, which is where you're just kind of supporting the actual creators. You then get the original one where you get the copy of Muffin Time wrapped up into a terrifying little cube at £15. You then get the Kickstarter one at £20, the bigger Kickstarter one at £25, and then the best Kickstarter one at £30. You then get into international Kickstarter at £30, the best friend Kickstarter package at £60, and then at $120, you get the bestest buddy Kickstarter package. The most comprehensive tier here has 4x Muffin Time, 4x Rainbow Pack, 4x Pie Flavor Package, and 4x Stretch Goal Rewards. So definitely more comprehensive and much more incremental when it comes to this specific campaign. The biggest differences here are going to be whether or not it includes stretch goals, and also if it includes certain types of cards, and also the expansion packs when it comes to this. So if you have a game that has the ability to expand with many different types of cards, or you're thinking about stretch goals for your specific campaign type, you could consider maybe emulating a structure like this. I would say that you need to have a lot of traffic and a lot of pre-built tribe in order to really sell out this level of tiers. And also with these different increments, they have to be different enough from each other. It's not enough just to say like, okay, with this one, you get the core game. With this one, you get like 5 extra cards. You really have to have a different flavor when it comes to those cards so people can actually differentiate between the micro pledges of like 30 to 35 pounds. The next campaign I want to get into is episode number 415 of my podcast, Crowdfunding Demystified Podcast. This is a unique way to raise $379K on Kickstarter without any product reviews. So this campaign is actually one of the most beautifully designed, in my opinion, because also I'm a nerd, right? I love books. I've written a couple of different books aside from the Kickstarter launch formula in this industry. And for me, this was really cool to check out this campaign. This is League of Lexicon. So this is a beautiful original quiz game about words and language, and it's made for word lovers and quiz nuts. So this is a campaign that you can check out on your own time. They raised over $379,000 from more than 5,619 backers, and this is off of a $7,000 goal. So again, following that format of being overfunded, really beautiful minimalistic design here when it comes to the actual campaign. And you kind of expect that because obviously this campaign is focused on words and word lovers. So if we go and check out the specific rewards, first of all, it starts out, like I talked about with publishing campaigns and book campaigns, this starts out actually with a digital download reward at £15. This is kind of more of an interesting hybrid though, with being a tabletop game. At £28, you then get the game updated. Receive the first edition of League of Lexicon at $28. And then at £40, you get the early bird bundle, which includes the main pack plus an expansion pack plus 150 question digital downloads. When it comes to that, then you get the full Monty, which is at $57. At the full Monty, you basically get more expansion packs at this and the £57. And then you also get at the £82 level, you get keep one, give one. So you get 2x of these games. So one that you can keep and one you can share, obviously, with a friend. And then lastly, at the £150 level, you get the Lexicon Lovers. So this is 3x of the League of Lexicon game, 2X Slang expansion pack, 2X Global expansion pack, and a bunch of other items that are included in this. So mainly this is for sort of stacking the number of games that you're going to want, and also the expansion packs, which you're going to get access to. They also had different items that were sold out at the $28 pound level. They had the first edition of League of Lexicon, which was sold out at the exclusive Kickstarter exclusive amount. And they also had the early bird bundle at 40 pounds. This is for the feast for word lovers, including content only available to Kickstarter backers. This was for basically all of the game plus the expansion pack plus the 150 question download. They then had the full Monty, which also sold out at the early bird level, and the keep one, give one, which sold out. As you can see, this reward tier structure works. And the big thing here is that it's really about the game mechanics. It's about whether or not you can actually have, expansion packs and you actually build on the gameplay. So you should think about that when you're actually designing your game. So we've made it to the final example in the list. And my friends, if you have made it to this point in the video, you've buckled down, you are learning, you are really narrowed in when it comes to that. And I would say that this is a great opportunity to really double down on your education. So if you made it this far, number one, go and check out the links in the description for my free course on Kickstarter. You can check that out at crowdcrux.com/Kickstarter. Share with you more of the tricks, more of the techniques that go into a successful Kickstarter campaign. And in addition, if at this point in time, you actually want to book an individual coaching call with me, you can do that at the link down below. Just go to crowdcrux.com/coaching. You get that call scheduled ASAP. In addition, when it comes to this call, it's not just a 45-minute strategy call. It's really going in depth into the inner workings of a successful campaign that applies to your specific category and your specific goals as a creator, as an entrepreneur, and also the resources that you have access to. So booking that individual coaching call is literally one of the best investments which you can make aside from my book, The Kickstarter Launch Formula. It's going to set you up for success, whether you're at the early stages just kind of thinking about this, or you're even further along. This is a great time to book that individual coaching call and really get an expert on your side. I've been doing this for the last 10 plus years. I started in the industry in 2012. I have a massive library of different campaigns in my head. I can apply all these techniques, strategies, and tools to your specific case to really supercharge your campaign. So go and book an individual coaching call at the link down below. That being said, let's get into the final campaign. So the final campaign here is episode number 325, which will show you how to raise $224,700 for a Kickstarter book. So to me, this is like a labor of love because I love writing, I love books, obviously, and this is for in a publishing category. And to me, I think that if you are an author, if you're a publisher trying to get a book out there, it can be quite intimidating when it comes to this. So if we take a look at their Kickstarter campaign, and pull this up for you, we can go a little bit more into this. This was the Dangerous Destinations hardcover or PDF for any fantasy RPG game. This is the definitive guide for creating intriguing and dynamic destinations for storytelling and fantasy role-playing games. So just because maybe you don't have a tabletop game or a card game or something like that, you can still make or take advantage of the actual massive audience and community of tabletop gamers and game lovers on Kickstarter by maybe creating a book for them or creating an ebook for them. So this campaign, off of a $10,000 goal, was able to raise $224,700 from more than 5,300 backers for this specific book. It is quite beautifully designed, really looks cool, and something that you definitely want to have on your coffee table. And I'll let you look at that on your own time because I want to get to the rewards tier section. So if we get to the rewards tier section, first of all, we get access to the survey tool at £5. At 20 pounds, and that's actually something interesting I'll talk about in just a second. At 20 pounds, we get the PDF designer version at $20. At $35, you then get the creator access, which is the free PDF, plus you get the Dangerous Destinations digital map pack. And then at $40, you get the hardcover of Dangerous Destinations. You then get at $50, the Architect tier, which is the hardcover plus the PDF of Dangerous Destinations. At $60, you get the Overlord tier, which is the hardcover plus PDF of Dangerous Editions, and also receive a digital version of all the maps being created for the pre-generated destinations unlocked through stretch goals. At $100, you get the VIP, which is reserving a seat in one of the weekly gaming sessions, which is a really cool, interesting reward. $120, you get the retail level 1, which is getting hardcover copies, and it kind of goes up from there with these retail tiers. So $240 is another retail tier. $300 is the VIP group, which is reserving your own gaming session. You and up to 4 friends get a private game session. At $300, you get the retail level 3, retail level 4, and it goes up from there. And then in terms of their early birds, they basically have an early bird for every single tier, which then sold out throughout the campaign. So the structure is early birds and the Kickstarter price. They have a couple different tiers, which would be the ebook and PDF. Then you have the hardcover version and sort of an expansion on that, including the stretch goals. And then you also have, like I mentioned, the retail tiers. And lastly, kind of a third really interesting tier, which is being able to play with other people in sort of a VIP group, if you will. And that's something that I haven't seen very much on Kickstarter. So they do have backers at almost all of these tiers, so retail tiers as well. So what I would say with this specific project is that they really understand their community, of course, which is why they have been successful. One of the hallmarks that we talked about in this entire video. In addition, they've combined a few different types of rewards. The ones that I see really interesting and really novel being, one would be the VIP group, where you can actually play with other people when it comes to tabletops. I think it's really interesting. The other is the retail tier. And the last one, which I mentioned actually at the beginning that I didn't come back to, was the $1 tier, which is where you just get access to the survey or the pledge tool, which they use at the end of the campaign. And this is basically someone could say, hey, I want to back it for $1. I don't know if I want to get it right now, but later on, it kind of reserves or gives me access to the survey tool, or maybe I can then add on to that reward if I want to. So really interesting in the way they did that. And again, I don't see that a lot when it comes to Kickstarter campaigns. So we've gone through a heck of a lot of examples when it comes to Kickstarter. You have no excuse, my friend, to design the ultimate reward tier package to get people excited, to get them to take action, and to back the Kickstarter campaign of your dreams so that you can raise money, you can smash through your goal, you can raise 10x more than you set on Kickstarter, and also so that way you can bring this creation into the world. You can build a community from scratch. You can launch multiple campaigns. One day, you can also appear and come on my podcast if you do hit and meet the requirements that I have for my guests. But that being said, you have no other excuses, my friend. So go and take action this week. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want more content just like this. Leave a positive comment down below. Give me a thumbs up. And finally, go and check out the links in the description, because that is one of the easiest ways you can begin to not only sink your teeth into more education and knowledge when it comes to this industry, but to also take concrete steps towards your goals. Again, my name is Salvador Briggman. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time.